Monster Hunter has always been one of my favorite video game series ever since I discovered Monster Hunter Tri back in 2010. However, just like one of my other favorite video games, classic World of Warcraft, it is deadly addictive. You can say goodbye to all of your free time if you ever start getting into either of these games. I think nowadays, most people like to play games that they can spend an hour or two on and then feel accomplished or satisfied. Most of the mainstream and more popular games of today have matchmaking formats that drive this point home. Look at any MOBA game such as League or Dota, and you might get an idea of what I'm talking about. You play a game, you know just about how much time that one will take, and then afterwards you can call it quits, knowing that it came to a conclusion. This is why games like Monster Hunter and World of Warcraft can be so addictive and very dangerous. They essentially never really end. There are too many things you can do, and it is all very open-ended. Even when you think you have completed everything, you can simply start it all over again from scratch, but this time play a different character, different class, or in Monster Hunter's case, different weapons. Monster Hunter is a long-running series created by Capcom that is essentially about you taking on all kinds of gigantic monsters in challenging boss fights. The gameplay in Rise is filled with fast-paced action that really reminds me of how some of the boss fights feel in Dark Souls or Elden Ring, with some more obvious differences in the overall tone. The game is much more lighthearted and doesn't have any of that edge that you would see in the Souls franchise. The overall art style to this game and lighter tone is what makes it so easy to just pick up and start getting into. The gameplay can be broken down into segments, and each one offers flexibility to how you want to customize your character to create your own style. The weapons in Monster Hunter are how you choose the way you want to play, each one offering vastly different combat styles. From the incredibly slow but powerful greatsword that does huge damage in just one well-placed swing, to the extreme speed and rapid attacks of the dual blades, there are weapons that can fit however you like to play. If melee weapons aren't your thing, they even offer ranged weapons, which turns the game into a third-person shooter. Each weapon has their own set of unique combos and techniques for you to play around with. After you decide on what weapon you want to play, the customization doesn't stop there. You can alter and swap out certain moves for every weapon. These are called switch skills, and there are several to unlock for every weapon, and you can change them around to vastly alter how the weapon can be played, usually changing around the risk and reward, giving you new skills that can allow you to deal more damage, but also make you more vulnerable to the monster's attacks. Playing around with all the different weapons and all of their movesets is really just the beginning of how you can customize your playstyle. Trying out all of these different weapons and skills is a lot of fun, and you can always find yourself mastering one specific weapon and maining it, or possibly trying them all in order to experience the fights in a new way. One of the cornerstones of Monster Hunter is how you craft your armor and weapons. Every monster has item drops, and in order to create whatever you want, you will have to grind and farm those monsters, similar to how you would in any MMO. There are some neat little details on how you would want to go about getting these items. For example, you may need to get the tail of a certain monster, which means you would have to specifically aim for attacking the tail during your hunts. I find it to be a really cool feature to be able to break off these parts of the monster's body by just constantly attacking those spots over and over. There isn't any better feeling than cutting off the monster's tail than with a giant greatsword slash. I never get tired from seeing that tail just go flying. Every monster has unique differences to how you can approach them. However, some weapons just do it better than others. For example, the hammer can't slice tails off, meaning you would have to swap to a different weapon to reach your goal, or maybe play online in some multiplayer lobbies and hope somebody else does it for you. You may get some tails as a random quest reward, but ultimately it just wouldn't be as efficient of a farming method. So, what do? You probably look into a different weapon, and once you find the one you want, you will probably think along the lines, well, I should probably also craft some armor with some skills that will complement the weapon. After all, having a armor set designed around stunning monsters with your slugger skill by bashing them in the head with a hammer over and over just won't really work if you're going to use the longsword. So now you add more monsters to your list that you need to farm. Next, you can see that your build will actually need one of the more rare item drops that has a very low drop chance, such as the purple Magna Orb. With a 3% drop chance, you can assume you will be killing the Magna Malo for a while in order to craft what you want. At this point, I usually would find myself at a fork in the road. I try to stick with it and grind it out in order to get the initial set that I want, or I begin to look into an even newer set that would simply be made just to kill the Magna Malo quicker in order to farm the other build more efficiently. This is where the gameplay loop sort of traps me, and I find myself always going down that path of creating that second set. It's funny how often this happens in Monster Hunter, but it's there by design. It's very addictive in nature, and you'll find yourself going down that path just like me, I can guarantee it. All around, the gameplay is very addictive if you are a fan of killing giant monsters in a series of epic boss fights, then this game will be for you. It is all around pretty simple to get the hang of it if you are just trying to master the basics. As you play more and more, you can also find a lot of depth and complexity with the huge amount of customization that just continues to add to the replayability of the game. I only have over 100 hours in this game so far, and I feel as though I have only scratched the surface. There are so many event quests that I have yet to even try. I've only really played around with a handful of the weapons, and I have so many builds that I still want to make. The paid DLC of Sunbreak also adds a ton to the game, and I haven't even touched it yet. If you are looking for a game that will get you hundreds of hours of entertainment, then I think Rise will be for you, especially if you think the gameplay I have been showing you looks pretty fun. Ideally, I will be buying and playing Sunbreak pretty soon, and then maybe I will make a review on that, but I think it will be safe to say that I will enjoy it. All around, this game is well worth the buy. You can currently find it on Steam for $60, however, it often goes on sale for 50% off, so I would just add it to your wish list and get it once it's low. I rate this game an 8.9 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm Artorigold, and I'll see you next time.